So here we are during the coronavirus epidemic, and as you can see, it's a beautiful day outside. So I want to get out and explore a little bit of my past. And that's this. Recently, a Boy Scout camp that I frequented a lot as a kid closed down in my town. But it's still there. It hasn't been bought yet, so the land is just sitting there. So I thought it'd be kind of cool today to maybe go check it out. Maybe find my way in and go visit some of the sites that are most memorable to me. And it's a really cool place. It was just short of being 100 years old when it closed. I think it was 98 years old when it closed this January. So we're going to go on a bit of an adventure today. Okay, so in order to get to Rotokawan, I can't just go in and park there because it's gated off. There's no one left. It's pretty much abandoned right now. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to drive to a nearby parking lot, which has a bunch of hiking trails, and I'll have to use one of the hiking trails to sneak in kind of in the back way to get into the Rotokawan area. So I'll see you then. So we're here. There's a lot of other people here. I couldn't park in the parking lot, so I'm actually going to end up walking right past the entrance to Rotokawan, but again, it's gated off, so I can't really go in there. So I'm going to have to go through El Sabo and then find my way in. Here we go. Right, out on the trails now. It's going to be a little bit until we get to the part where we have to go off the trail. Alright, so I just came from the trail over there. And now this trail will lead into Rotokawan. There's going to be a few campsites over there, but I'm going to try to go to the parking lot first to take a look around there. So I'm in the camp now, and here is Marquette. And this is a campsite that my troop used to go to very often. And it's kind of spooky being back here. Where there's just nothing and no one. I mean, I've been back here when this place was full of, dudes like me sleeping in tents, having a good time. I've sat around this very campfire. I've cooked meals off of this very campfire when I was in middle school and high school. Now it's just nothing. So here's the parking lot. The bathroom's there. That path leads down to the water, I think. And got the fireball over there, which I'll go to in a second. Whenever my troop would come here, most of the time we would meet in this parking lot here before zipping over to our campsite. I usually parked right over here. And guess now we'll go over to the fireball and go check that out. So this is the entrance to the fireball, and it looks like there's actually been some refurbishing done to this, because this all looks like pretty new stain put on these boards. I definitely don't remember them being like this whenever I was here. So I don't know if this was done within the past year or so, or before it was closed down officially, but this is definitely new. So this is the fireball. I've had many occasions where I've either sat in these seats here, or I've been standing right down there. As a matter of fact, I think there's a picture of me floating around when I was senior patrol leader, standing right down there, leading us in an award ceremony of some kind. And now I'm back with no one else here. Alright, we're gonna move on, I think, this direction. May peace prevail on earth. I definitely say that statement fits this place now. It's very peaceful and very quiet. So just kind of walking around here, I'm finding things like this lying around. Just some arts and crafts, some electrical wire, some trays. And this box isn't really too weathered. I know it's sitting out inside, but it's right next to the opening here, and it's not too weathered. This makes me wonder how much of this place actually still gets used. I don't know if they still rent it out for people to camp here or not. I know the summer camp program has ended, but there's still some traces of people here at some point. So that's pretty interesting. I don't think I have to be worried about getting caught. I don't think they come out here very often. But even if they do, I'm not going to run from them. I'm going to be honest what I'm doing. I'm just kind of checking out this place. I'll probably flash them my Eagle Scout card. Tell them that I'm one of them. And hopefully they'll take that well. Let's continue exploring. So I believe this is called Pines Cabin, if I'm not mistaken. Either this one is called Pines, or the one up there is called Pines. But I have spent multiple campouts in this cabin. This was considered the younger scout cabin, while the rest of the older scouts would be stationed in the cabin up there. And on this hill right here, we would have like battles between the younger scouts and the older scouts, where we would throw shit at each other, I don't know, do a bunch of dumb stuff. A lot of fun. So a lot of memories in this cabin here. So now I do know for a fact this one is called Pines Cabin because it says so right there. I honestly forgot what the other cabin is called. But this is also a cabin that we've stayed in before. I've cooked right over there. We've used this pavilion to cook things before. A lot of memories here too. So this is like a little miniature beachfront area. You wouldn't go swimming off of this part. But during the winter, we have this thing called the Klondike, which is basically where we do a bunch of winter games. And 9 times out of 10, this lake would be frozen, and there would be little markers out on the ice. And we would have like rings or something that we would have to toss from here out there, and we would get a certain amount of points based on if we hit the targets or not. So we're coming on up here to the dining hall. This is probably one of the biggest buildings here on the reserve. So we'll just go right on up there. So this is where they would do flags every morning if you were in summer camp. But again, I didn't do summer camp here, so I never really had much experience with that. And there's also the dining hall here, which I was in only a handful of times. One of them was for my OA ceremony, where after our ordeal, we came and ate a feast in this building. Supposedly the fire danger today is pretty high, but I suspect that that arrow hasn't been moved in many a month. So we've hit most of the areas in camp I want to go to. I think I'm going to go a little bit further down the road. I'm trying to stay off the main road as much as I can, just on the off chance that a car drives by and they kick me out. So I'm just going to kind of stick on the trails that are close to the lake here and see how far I can get back here before I decide it's time for me to get out of here. So I noticed that I think I hear a truck coming. I don't know. I noticed that there's a window busted here. And wow, I mean, you can just look at this. This is the dining hall. It's empty, a bunch of merit badge symbols on the ceiling. I would go in, but I don't know what cameras or alarms might be in here. I'm probably being a bit over paranoid, but I just want to be sure. All right, let's go. So you probably can't hear it, but there's definitely a truck engine running somewhere here in camp. I just heard it. It's over there. It's across the lake where I was towards those cabins. I don't know if it's them looking for me. I don't know if I was found on some cameras or something. I was just up there and I was out the window and I heard an engine. And I can't tell if it's getting closer or further away. I hit most of the spots I wanted to hit here in camp, but I think I might be heading out soon. I think I've already said this, but it's very strange to be here right now. I mean, I spent so much of my middle school and some of my high school years here. Camping, hanging out with my friends. And now I'm back, and this place is just a shell of really what it used to be, or what I knew it to be. I mean, when I remember this place, I remember it being full of scouts. You know, there's always activities to do, like that ring toss game I was telling you about here. I mean, there's tents set up everywhere, lots of troops. And now there's just nothing. It's empty. It's just sitting here waiting to rot. And it's just very strange. So back over here, we used to have, in the wintertime, a fire building competition. And my patrol would often win because of the help of one of my good friends, Brandon, whom we nicknamed Burndon, because no matter how difficult it was, we would always win this competition because of the fires that he built. So shout out to Brandon for giving us victory in this spot right here so many times. Another thing that happened here at Rotokawan a lot was this thing called the Haunted Woods every fall, where troops would pick a spot in the woods and they'd build like a haunted trail and they'd scare people. And we did ours a couple times in this spot right here. They would start at the top near the restroom area that you saw earlier in the video, and we made a trail that wound all its way down through here, and it would end right about here. And we set up a strobe light room that I was in, scaring people in. So that was a lot of really good memories for that. So we're back up here at the parking lot, and there's this sign here that I wanted to talk about. This is the sign at the start of the Fred Apeldoorn Trail, and this is a trail that I have hiked probably dozens of times. This is a trail that, it's a 5-mile trail, goes through all the trails in the El Sabo area, which is where I entered this place through. We would have 4 each year, one for every season. So there'd be one in the summer, one in the fall, one in the winter, and one in the spring. And you got special awards based on how many of the hikes you did in a given year. And I think I missed a few, but I tried to get to all of them because I always remember having such a good time hiking on this trail here. And I know a lot of my friends did too. I think that's most of the areas that I wanted to hit here in camp. I think I'm gonna head on back out. If I think of something that I missed, I'll probably get a quick capture of it. I really couldn't think of anything else to do back there. So I'm on the trail back into El Sabo, and I'll be back at my car pretty quickly here. So I'll see you then. Where we just were, but as you can see back there, it is fenced off. So I couldn't go in that way. You can see there's signs here, no entry. There's the other sign. That was the gateway to a lot of fun for me right there. So I'm just now realizing that I missed a big part of the camp, and that was the Cub Scout side, where I also spent a lot of time in my scouting career, was back in there. So that might be another video, going back in there and checking out. There's some really cool it's like each campsite was themed, so there's some really cool buildings back there. But that'll be for another time. So that's gonna be it for this one. That was me exploring Rotokawan Scout Preservation.